Hey guys, it's Stephanie, and today I am here with a book review, and that review is of And Again by Jessica Chiarella. This was her debut novel, and when I read the synopsis on Goodreads, I had to read this book. Basically, there's 4 patients who are terminally ill, and they are chosen in a lottery-style draw for a spot in the Sublife program. And so they're the guinea pigs for this program. And in this program, their consciousness gets transferred to a brand new version of their body. The version of their body is a clone that they made from their body that was aged to the age they are now. This body is perfect. You know, there's no blemishes, there's no wrinkles, and more importantly, there's no disease. So essentially, these people are going in for an operation, going to sleep, waking up in this brand new, perfect body. The story follows these 4 people from the moment they wake up. Since this was, a test run of the program, they have to check back in every month at the hospital and talk with a doctor about how it is going back into their life, if they're having any issues. So as much as I did enjoy this book, there was I wanted more out of it, and I guess when I say that, I wanted more science. This is kind of sold as sci-fi literary fiction. I'm going to come out and say it is definitely more of a character study, literary fiction, with just a background in sci-fi. The science is glossed over completely. There is not much time spent on that. And I would have really loved more. I love books that explore topics like these. There's just so much to explore. They really didn't talk about the ethics of anything. They talked about people protesting, but really didn't go deep into that. There wasn't a whole lot of talk of how this program is going to be sustained. And does this program essentially make way for a world where the rich and powerful can just reincarnate themselves into, younger bodies and technically just live forever? Like, that's scary. How is this program going to be policed? Like, there were so many questions that I had that didn't get answered. This book really is focused on these 4 people and the dilemmas that they face with these bodies and being put back and integrating themselves back into their old life. Like, the most dramatic example was one of the women was named Linda, and she was in a car accident where she was paralyzed completely. She couldn't even speak. So for 8 years, she communicated with her family through blinking yes or no. So hers was obviously the biggest shock that now she has this working body. She goes back to her home, to her husband and children that she has not really interacted with in 8 years. And she finds that her husband has given most of her stuff away because, at that point, he had no hope that this was ever going to happen. That's crazy. And so she comes back and it's just her dealing with this life. Then there is David, I had a problem with because he was just like the stereotypical skee-ball politician, and him also getting this new body and him having so much identity wrapped up in his old body and the calluses in his fingers and his scars and just this new body that's never experienced a hard day's work, and how much of his identity was tied up in that. There was also Hannah, who had a similar issue with her body. She was an artist and she had multiple tattoos, and she's waking up in this body that has no tattoos, has no piercings, and she finds that she can't paint in this body. She feels like something is off, and she's having a hard time dealing with the changes that come with having this new body. And then there was Connie, who was personally my favorite character. She was a soap opera actress who had AIDS and is given obviously this miraculous second chance, and I liked her because she was, number one, the funniest character, and she seemed to be the one that really wasn't mopey, I guess, about having a new body. She was like, guys, like, we have new bodies. Like, this is crazy. I'm gonna go live my life and pursue my dreams, and this is insane. So I felt like she had the response that I wanted out of the other characters who were just like, yeah, I got this new body, but I don't have my tattoos anymore, and that makes me sad. I wanted to shake them. So yes, it goes without saying that these are all, for the most part, very unlikable characters. If you like unlikable characters, I would definitely check this out. All 4 of them are basically terrible people. So where her strengths did lie, like I said, she explored a lot of things. How much of our identity is wrapped up in our physical body. She explored how relationships would be affected, and every chapter is written from that character's perspective, and she did a good job of each character having their own voice, and just the seamless transition between chapters and perspectives was very interesting. I am definitely very glad I picked this for my book club because there is just so much to draw here for discussion. Would you take this chance? Would you want to wake up in a brand new body? Like, do you think that's right? Do you have anything against that? How much of our identity is wrapped up in our physical body? Do you see this as something that is a possibility in the future? Like, there was just so much. The writing was great. Characters for the most part were interesting and they were individuals. Like I said, it was easy to discern them from chapter to chapter. So from here on out is where I'm going to discuss some things that are spoilers. So if you had not read the book and are very sensitive to spoilers, I would not watch it from this point on. I guess there's two things I had a problem with, not really a problem with, I'm gonna say more annoyed with. One of them was Hannah, just as a person. I didn't like her. I felt like the author really wanted us to like her. She gave her definitely the most screen time, so to speak. But for the whole novel, she is convinced that her boyfriend cheated on her with her older sister because they used to be high school sweethearts, and she notices a little bit of tension between them when she wakes up. So she automatically comes to the conclusion that they slept together while she was sick. In reality, she finds out that he left when they told her she was gonna die. He just went for a drive because he didn't want to be there. And she makes this statement like, would you want to be with someone, you know, who wasn't there for you to hold your hand when you die? And it felt like at the moment her conclusion to that was like, no, you want to be with someone who's going to be able to stick with you through anything. But then in the end, they end up together. So that was something that annoyed me a little bit. Also, Linda, just her character as a whole, I understand that she was in the most shock. She had the biggest change, just being integrated back into her family. And at the end, she had all her bags packed and she was ready to go. But then last minute, you know, her kids talk to her and she has a very heartfelt conversation with her husband and she decides to stay. It just felt very contrived and almost like melodramatic. And I don't know if that was meant because Linda spent all of the time she was paralyzed obsessed with a soap opera. I don't know if her ending was meant to have that kind of a soap opera feel that was just very crazy and melodramatic like that. I don't know if that was meant to mirror that, but I just was not a fan. I really did not like her character at all, honestly. So anyway, those were my discussion points. So if you've read the book, you know what I'm talking about. So anyway, like I said, I would not go into this thinking it is a sci-fi book. It is definitely a literary fiction character study. If you go into it, definitely think of it that way. There is not a whole lot of science there. But if you are looking for a character study with a very unique premise, I would definitely check this out. So anyway guys, thanks for watching and I hope to see you again soon.